Chapter 370. A Muslim Girl in the West, Section 23. Dr. Ibtihal's personal life in the States began with many problems. She faced financial, social, and spiritual problems. She could not able to help her lover to immigrate to the USA. Dr. Samir was going through so many problems in N'Djamena, Chad. He informed Dr. Ibtihal that he needed some financial aids. He was still in a wheelchair and could not do any work to help him to meet his medical and other personal needs. He received very little cash from the UN office in N'Djamena. Whatever little money he received was just enough to buy his food and pay his rent. He could not afford to buy clothes. He had many medications to buy, but he could not. He could not go for surgery in N'Djamena. He was advised by doctors to travel to a Western country for the kind of surgery he needed. Dr. Samir applied for resettlement in the States, but his application was placed with thousands of other applications. The USA Embassy placed his applications after 1,000 applicants who applied before him. There were over 2 million Sudanese refugees in Chad. Every one of them wanted to immigrate to a Western country. Dr. Samir would likely have to wait for a couple of years before the USA Embassy in N'Djamena would look into his case. If Dr. Ibtihal would return to Africa and marry him, then his process might quicker. Dr. Ibtihal would not be able to travel out of the States until she gets her American citizenship. In order to become an American citizen, Dr. Ibtihal would need to stay 5 years in USA. It seemed that the two lovers needed to wait for years before they could see each other. Both lovers became refugees in different countries and separate continents. None of them had any citizenship. They belonged to no country. Dr. Ibtihal could not work as a medical doctor in the States unless she would redo all her courses in medicine. In order to be qualified to work as a doctor in the States, she needed at least 6 years of studies in a medical college. She needed to borrow a huge amount of student loan to go back to college. For the time being, she put her lover first. She decided to work in order to help Dr. Samir to meet his medical needs. At the same time, she wanted to do part-time studies. Since she had no proofs of her education level, she was told to begin from grade 12. Dr. Ibtihal felt so disappointed when she was refused admission in any medical college. With no available proofs of her education, she dropped the idea of going back to school and began to look for a job. Dr. Ibtihal received little financial assistance from the immigration office in Chicago. What she got was hardly enough to meet her daily needs. In order to meet her needs and get little extra money, Dr. Ibtihal began to work in a hospital. She worked in the housekeeping department. Instead of being a doctor, she was sweeping floors and cleaning toilets in America. Even though, she understood her problem was common among the immigrants from the Third World. Even those immigrants who had proofs of their educational levels would not be able to work in the area of their specialization. There are medical doctors and PhD holders working as security guards and taxi drivers. Some medical doctors went back to school and began from scratch. After many years of study and borrowing a huge amount of student loan, those doctors managed to work in their medical fields. Dr. Ibtihal's new work helped her to get little extra money. She began to send some little money every month to her lover in N'Djamena. She worked as a casual worker. She had no fixed hours. She was on call. Any time of the day the hospital needed her, she was called in. She worked around the clock. Sometimes she was called to work from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Other times she worked from 4:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. Among all her shifts, she hated to work from 1:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. She had no choice or preference. Any time she was called in, she had to go or she would lose her work. Meanwhile, Dr. Ibtihal joined the Sudanese and the Arabic churches in Chicago. Although her work kept her occupied, she still managed to go to her church. Every Sunday morning she attended the Sudanese church, and every Saturday evening she went to the Arabic church. In short time, she gained the love and trust of both churches. She shared her testimony in many occasions in both churches. The Sudanese church in short time ordained her as a leader. She did not want to become a leader because of her work. Nonetheless, the pastor and his wife convinced her to take some responsibility and be an active member in the church. Whenever she had time, Dr. Ibtihal also attended some house groups meetings and Bible studies. She became the youth leader too. The majority of the members of the Sudanese church were originally from south of Sudan. There were also a few members from the Nuba Mountains in central Sudan. For a couple of months, she sincerely served the Sudanese church. Sadly, some rumors spread inside the church that Dr. Ibtihal, while she was married to a Muslim man in Khartoum, she fell in love with a Christian man and absconded with him. The rumors said further that the borders guards caught Dr. Ibtihal and her lover while they were crossing the Eritrean and Sudanese border. Those nasty and malicious rumors went to the extent of saying that at present Dr. Ibtihal had a new boyfriend in N'Djamena, Chad. Furthermore, the rumor claimed that her husband in Sudan was still looking for her. Believing those ugly rumors, some members demanded that Dr. Ibtihal should be asked to step down and be subjected to some spiritual counseling. Dr. Ibtihal knew nothing about all those nasty gossips until one day the pastor of the Sudanese church called her in his house and told her about the rumors. She was extremely disturbed and discouraged when she heard that her Christian brothers and sisters twisted her testimony and used it against her. She told her testimony more than once during the Sunday services. Some jealous women or satanic agents claimed that they were there in Sudan when Dr. Ibtihal was tried and given 100 lashes for her affair with the Christian man while she was still legally married to a Muslim man. The pastor told her that she would not be able to serve as a leader in the church because of those rumors. For that reason, he advised her to continue attending the church as an ordinary member. As soon as she heard the words of the pastor, Dr. Ibtihal lost trust and interest in the Sudanese church. She decided to leave the church when the leadership stripped her of her position as a leader and asked her to step down. In actual fact, the Sudanese church did so much damage to her name in Chicago. Almost all Sudanese in Chicago believed that Dr. Ibtihal cheated on her Muslim husband and ran away with a Christian man. The Muslim Sudanese added to the rumors that Dr. Ibtihal in fact left Islam because of that Christian man. The rumors followed Dr. Ibtihal up to the Arabic church. Wherefore, she also stopped going to the Arabic church. Thereafter, she did not attend any church. She just stayed at home and read her Bible and prayed regularly. In her lost memories, Dr. Ibtihal wrote that those were the most dark and difficult days that she ever experienced since she left Sudan. Even in Athens, she had not faced such social and spiritual problems. Socially, those nasty rumors gave some Sudanese women chance to harass Dr. Ibtihal whenever they met her in public places. Sudanese Muslim women who were originally from the north of Sudan were so mad when they came to know that a northern girl left Islam and converted to Christianity. Those women, whenever they saw her in public place, they spat on her face. Some of them spoke to her in Arabic and openly cursed her. She was known among those women as the accursed girl. In that hostile environment, Dr. Ibtihal felt that she became an outcast. She was hated by the Muslim Sudanese and betrayed by the Christian Sudanese. Dr. Ibtihal felt she was living in social segregation. She lost interest in any social and spiritual activities. She spent most of her free time in her apartment. At work, she made a few friends. Her friendship at work was confined to the working place. She did not meet her friends outside the hospital where she was working. She corresponded with her lover in regular basis and sent him whatever she could afford to send. Dr. Ibtihal continued to read her Bible and pray regularly. She did not lose her faith in the Lord. The only missing thing in her spiritual life was fellowship. Her routine life went like this for a few months after she had that controversial debate in the Al Jazeera TV. It happened to be one day while Dr. Ibtihal was covering the shift between 4:30 p.m. to 1 a.m., her work was interrupted by an unusual event. It was 7:30 p.m. when the FBI came to the hospital and asked her to follow them. All other workers concluded that Dr. Ibtihal was involved in some sort of terrorist activities. The FBI police did not inform anyone why they were taking their colleague out of her work. Dr. Ibtihal tried to know why they were taking her away, but they told her nothing. She was told to cooperate and follow them. Dr. Ibtihal followed them with heart beating like a drum and body sweating from head to feet. The FBI police spoke nothing to her until they reached their headquarters. At the police office, Dr. Ibtihal was asked to listen to some recording and tell whether she understood the meaning of those words. The recording was in Arabic language and spoken by a harsh and angry male's voice. "We have kidnapped your lover, Samir in N'Djamena, Chad. He is now under the hands of 10 of the Lions of Jihad. If you want him to live, you should appear before the viewers of the Al Jazeera TV and make a public apology to the Muslim community for speaking blasphemous words against the teachings of the gracious Quran and the blessed Sunnah of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may he prayers and peace of Allah be upon him. Don't think the police in Chad would be able to save your man from our hands. Don't think also the American police would stop us from reaching you if you refuse to follow our orders. We will kill your man first and then we will come after you. If you want to save yourself and your man, make arrangements with the Al Jazeera TV and request them to allow you appear in the same show and say that you have spoken lies and blasphemies against the beautiful religion of Islam. You have to promise in future you will never ever speak again against Islam in any public place or make any private recording against our heavenly religion. Unless you do that, we will not release your man and we will behead him and send you a video showing how he has been slaughtered by the Lions of Jihad." Dr. Ibtihal heard those words and felt each word like a poisonous arrow that has been shot into her heart. She began to shake and murmur intelligible words. "We feel sorry for you and your boyfriend," said a female cop softly. "We have intercepted this message just a couple of hours ago. This message now is there in your answering machine. What do you think you are going to do? I don't want them to kill Samir. He is innocent. He did nothing." "Why they want to kill him?" said Dr. Ibtihal while crying. "Are you going to yield to their threats?" "I am ready to do anything to save the life of my Samir. I will contact the Arab TV and make a public apology. If you do that, do you think those Muslim terrorists are going to keep their word? They are going to kill him anyway. I can't fold my hands and wait for them to behead my lover. I cannot live without him. I sacrificed a lot for this love. I can't allow them to snatch the love of my life. You should not rush things. First, we have to verify their claim. We need to contact the police authority in N'Djamena and find out whether they kidnapped your boyfriend or not. If we find their claim to be true, then we need to seek the help of the police over there and request them to look for those Muslim terrorists. I was born and brought up as a Muslim. I understand the language of Muslim terrorists. When they say something, they do it for sure. It is in their bloods. If I delay my apology, they will kill Samir for sure. Religious terrorists are not gang members. They never keep their word. They do what cause so much pain and create terror in the hearts of people of other faiths. They want to humiliate you first in the media. Then, they will kill your boyfriend to inflict more pain in your heart. Lastly, they will come after you. You can never please religious terrorists. What shall I do then? Remain quiet and let the police handle this case. We will make sure that you are kept under police protection until we see what they are going to do with your boyfriend. Impossible, they are going to kill him if I don't do what they want me to do. These people can do anything to protect the name of their prophet. I have to take this step even if they would not fulfill their promise. I must apologize to them in their own TV. The Al Jazeera TV is not owned by Muslim terrorists. It is a secular TV. I mean to say it is an Arabic channel. Majority of its viewers are Muslims. The terrorists felt that I have attacked their religion in a channel mostly watched by Muslims. By apologizing, you are not going to appease them. They will still harm your boyfriend. These jihadists are after you from Athens. They could not kill you in Greece. They would come here after you. Dr. Ibtihal decided to apologize no matter what would be the consequences. She knew in her heart that the terrorists would kill her lover if she disobeys them. She concluded that she must take the risk and make the public apology. The FBI police was able to verify the claim of the jihadists. They belonged to the ISIS terrorists. The Chadian police in N'Djamena confirmed that Dr. Samir was missing for over 2 weeks. Some neighbors testified that some bearded Arabs were seen recently standing near the flat where Dr. Samir used to live. Shortly after that, Dr. Samir disappeared. When the FBI police verified that the terrorists kidnapped Dr. Samir, Dr. Ibtihal contacted the Al Jazeera TV's office in Chicago and requested them to give her a chance to rectify her speech which she spoke in her debate a few months ago. The office agreed to allow her to speak, but her speech would not be aired live. They asked her to come to the office and record her apology. The office did not make any promise. The decision to air her apology would be made in their headquarters in Al Doha, Qatar. Consequently, Dr. Ibtihal was going through the most difficult time in her life. She felt that she was responsible for the kidnap of her lover. She put his life in big risk through that debate. She wished that she could go back in history and erase that debate from her life. The action of the terrorists showed her how much damage she did to Islam in that debate. She wanted to say something in her apology that would soothe the pain and appease the anger of the Arab Muslims. She prayed to God to make her apology acceptable to those terrorists who were holding her lover as a hostage. The Al Jazeera TV in Middle East accepted the request of Dr. Ibtihal and informed their branch in Chicago to record her apology and forward to them. As soon as she heard their acceptance, Dr. Ibtihal went to the Al Jazeera's studio and recorded her apology. Greetings and love from God to all the viewers. I have decided to come before all viewers of the Al Jazeera TV and make a public apology to all Muslims who watched the debate I had with the Blessed Al-Sheikh Muhammad Abu Jihad. I admit that on that debate I was so rude and disrespectful to the teachings of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad. I am sorry if I misquoted any verse and hadith out of their contexts. I also admit that on that day I came with the intention to win the debate. I had not paid any attention to the religious sentiments of the viewers. For that reason, I sincerely apologize from my heart to anyone who got hurt through my words. I hope that my brothers and sisters in humanity would accept my earnest and sincere apology and forgive me for speaking against their precious religion. I make solemn promise to Muslims all over the world that I would not speak against Islam in any public place. I would not talk about Islam in schools, colleges, churches, synagogues, radios, TVs, chat rooms in the internet, and at work. I would not even talk about it in a private place. Dr. Ibtihal made her apology with so many emotions that any sincere person would accept it. From the day she recorded her apology in fear and tears, Dr. Ibtihal began to count hours and days. She contacted many times the police headquarters in N'Djamena. She was always told that they could not able to find her lover. The Al Jazeera TV aired the apology of Dr. Ibtihal as soon as they had received it. They could not believe that the Sudanese woman who moved the entire Arab world against them would make such an apology. Therefore, they aired it several times. They made one-day special program on the apology and invited the viewers to voice their comments on it through the phone. Some viewers accepted and appreciated the bold step that the Sudanese woman took in order to heal the deep wound she caused it in the hearts of millions Muslims. Some viewers rejected it and accused Dr. Ibtihal of hypocrisy. Some of them suggested that Dr. Ibtihal should have another debate with a highly qualified Muslim scholar. In spite of her sincere apology, no one among the viewers and TV programmers was able to read behind the fears and tears of Dr. Ibtihal and perceived that her apology came as a result of terrorist threat. The apology was downloaded in YouTube under the title, a Sudanese apostate woman asks forgiveness for insulting the Holy Quran and the Prophet Muhammad.